Hi guys. So today we'll talk about the gaps. Ito yung nabanggit ko before sa ServQual method. No? So when we talk about the service quality, service culture kasi no ating topic na. And it's across industry siya. It's across industry by the way. And I think naputo lang to eh. Meron pang isa pang gap to na gap 6 but we'll talk about this as we see it fit. No? So meron tayong first gap. No? Makikita niyo yung first gap is from the management perceptions of customer expectation versus the expected service. Yan, ha? So makikita niyo may link dito. The consumer was on the other side while the marketeer, tayo yun, no? On this side. But then there's the first gap, no? Yung management perceptions of customer expectations. Ito yung akala ng company, ito yung kanyang expectation. So merong gap yun. That gap is unforgivable. Pero wala tayong magagawa doon eh. Minsan hindi sila nagsasalita eh. Kaya nga alam nyo, even in ISO 9001 2015, yung culture ng ISO, we talk about customer communication. And precisely because one of the fundamental super basic na foundation ng quality, ng principles of quality is customer focus. And a lot of people are always saying na, we're customer focused, mahal namin yung mga customers namin. Pero if you ask them, how do you know their expected service? How do you know their expectation? They would answer to you in such a way that you would think na teka, hindi naman nila tinatanong talaga yung customer kung ano talaga yung kailangan nila. They would simply assume. Lalo na if we're talking about service. And lalo na sa school. Kasi pagdating sa school, ay, kailangan ng mga bata yan. O, tama, yan ang mga kailangan. Nasa curriculum yan. Wala naman tayong magagawa dyan. Describe na yan ng CHED. Anong gagawin mo? Ang CHED ang nag-prescribe niyan. Prescribe na yan. Legal, ano na yan. It's a legal mandate from CHED. Di mo naman po pwedeng hindi gawin yan. So, meaning, lahat ng ating sinasabing customer focus is just not really there. Samantalang, when you talk about TQM, Total Quality Management, the Japanese greats ng Toyota company before, they would always say that the ideal is not zero defect, as maybe some practitioners of Six Sigma would say, or three errors lang, no, or three defects in per million opportunities. No, we're not talking about that. The true north ideal is customer service, customer focus. So pag ganun ang ibig sabihin, and then there's that gap, ano yung perception mo ng expectation nila versus yung expected service on the consumer side? That's a big gap. And alam niyo, sa totoo lang, pag yan meron ka ng problem dyan, usually hindi mo na siya nasusolve. Kasi ang binibigay mong service, yung sinasabi mo under-promise, over-deliver. Over-promise, under-deliver. You would put Wi-Fi in your, as I mentioned last time, you would put Wi-Fi in your restaurant. Hindi naman pala sila nagtatagal sa restaurant to need it. Importante pala yung chart. Example ako, I've been around, lumalabas kami ng ibang bansa, nasa hotel, and usually ang problema, charger. And nakaano kami, naka-experience kami sa Malaysia na nung tumawag kami sa front office, yung pumunta sa amin, binentahan kami ng charger. Kasi ngayon na sa kanila is the European style. Yung pagpasok mo, paano kami makapag-charge nito? Iba yung saksakan. Kaya nga yung kaibigan ko na well-traveled person, no? Kilala sa circle niya. He would always be the one that I would remember when I talk about this. Kasi talagang sabi niya, rocket lang yan, George. No, don't ever buy from these guys. Meron akong diyan, dala-dala. Model lang yan. So shout out kay Sir Chris. Sir Chris talagang yan laging handa yan. And 'di ba? I mean, that's an important expectation. Of course, hindi naman ako talaga laging aalis. Pero I would always remember hotels na pag hindi mo pa kailangan, sinasabi na sa'yo okay, yung natin dyan, European style or whatever, you have charger, ganyan. And that's pretty important kahit pa nga bumili ka, pero kailangan there should be a place where you can buy it. Another expected service is yung palitan ng currency na usually wala, kasi ang problem naman dito, hindi nila pinipilit na ilagay because there are times na naka-counterfeit sila, may mga masasamang loob na ginagawa ay dadala ng mga counterfeit, and since hindi na marunong yung mga mga hotel staff nila, wala ang ending. Siguro before ino-offer nila pero ngayon hindi na, but there must be a way para ma-scrutinize yun, and then maghanap ka ng way para maibigay mo yung service na yun, not at the expense of na magka-problema ka naman with counterfeit money. Those are examples but imagine expected service ko yun, and I don't know whether it's a perception ba of management that those are not important. Di ba? Of course, Wi-Fi is important, pero may mga hotels na pag hindi mo hiningi yung Wi-Fi, hindi pa sa isasabihin. Meron naman sa Singapore na nagla-login ako sa Wi-Fi. Pucha, nasa kabilang building pala yun. Sabi nung, Mister, that is not our building. That is on the other side. Oh, how come? It's very, ang lakas Tapos open Wi-Fi na. No, don't connect to them. Connect to us. Ganun ng, kasi sa sobrang lakas ng internet, kahit nasa loob ka na ng kwarto mo, nasasagap mo yung internet ng kabilang building sa kabila. I mean, you know what I mean? So, maybe that's far off from what we're talking about. But, management perception of customer expectation versus the expected service, that's a gap, and that's usually the first gap, and that's a huge gap. Kasi pag hindi alam ng management kung ano yung tama expectations ng kanyang customers, edi ang i-offer niya iba. And then when we talk about blue ocean, how do you create something? How do you decide which one to forgo, which one to raise? Those are genuine expectations And if it is so expected, so much so na pag hindi mo binigay, it would be an image breaker. Dapat ibigay mo yun, right? Diba? So that's the first gap. And then we have a second gap here called the service quality specification versus the management perception of customer expectation. It's not a huge gap. It's a small gap, if you will look at it. Pero ito yung merong perception siya, pero nung ginawa nila yung specification of service quality, hindi naman kinonsider nila, pero maybe the way it was presented was not clear. Okay? So, paano yun? Ibig sabihin, ang perception ko, example ang perception ko ng customer expectation is speed. Right? But then, nung nilagay mo sa specification, hindi mo nilagay ang speed. Maaaring ang nilagay mo ay promptness. Diba? It's different. Pag sinabi mo kasi yung promptness is that when you promise one day. Ang speed, sinabi kong 1 day, 2 hours lang nandiyan na. So it's a different thing, right? Kasi nga, again, mali kasi expected service mo Pero ang mabigat dito, iba yung expectation mo na sa customer perception sa customer expectations, iba na nga yun sa totoong expected service nung inilagay mo pa siya sa service quality specification mo. Alam nyo, by the way, sa ISO, ang tawag dito ay quality objectives o kaya quality plan. Nasa quality principles yan. So, nandoon yan sa quality policy mo. Nung nilagay mo sa quality policy mo, nilagay mo, kailangan pala Expect pala ng market na, prompt ang service natin. Okay, we will deliver it within 2 days. Wow, is that prompt enough? I mean, that's still too slow. Diba? So yun, medyo may problem ka na doon. Alam mo na tama yung expectation and yet it wasn't, specified well. That's a gap. And that's gap number 2. And then look at gap number 3. Service quality specification. May specification ka, pero yung pagka-deliver ng service ay hindi pareho. So for example, no, let me talk about a certain agency for example, no. Halimbawa LTO for example. Although itong napagganuan ko recently sa LTO, ang galing ng service. Grabe, sobra. Baka naman hindi sa lahat 'yun, but in Robinson's Santa Rosa. Robinson's Santa Rosa. It's part of Santa Rosa, not Binyan, no? So proud kami diyan sa mga diyan sa LTO. Kasi yung quality specification siguro is speed, di ba? Promptness, whatever. But ako expectation ko kasi talagang okay, matapos ko lang tong pagpa-process nito and then baka bibigyan ako ng ng date kung kailan ako babalikan. But then it was delivered on the day. I mean, a few hours. Siguro an hour after I paid, I got it. So, I mean, di ba? Blows my mind. I mean, this is the fact. Sorry. This is the government you're talking about and how speedily they give the service, di ba? So, yun ang ibig sabihin ko. Halimbawa, when you say, okay, I'm going to deliver it in 2 days, nandun sa Citizen Charter. Tapos, pag deliver mo, 3 months na hindi pa nabibigay. And then they would say, well, actually, ang sabi po sa Citizen Charter natin is upon delivery of the correct specification. Ang daming ganyan sa purchasing department, for example. Different companies, different organizations, sabihin niya, sir, mali naman po yung in-specify nyo. Wala po sa market niyan. So hanggang hindi po nila ni-receive ang inyong order na may correct specification, hindi sila nagkaka-count ng number of days. Kung tutuusin, sino ba namang customer ang magbibilang doon sa time na na-correct yung specification? Hindi ko kasalanan yun. Di ba? Ganun ang customer eh. And they would always put the blame on you why you didn't raise it in the first place. How am I supposed to know that? Kayo nagbebenta eh. Sabi niya, hindi, ikaw ang user, di ba? So magtatalo kayo. The customer is always right. So dapat manggagaling yung correctness or accuracy sa part ninyo, di ba? So yung service delivery versus yung specification ng service, may gap na naman yan. Yan ang gap number 3. Yung dineliver na service ay hindi pareho dun sa specification. At dyan maraming gap. Sabi mo, ganito yung sabi mo, tapos hindi naman nangyari. And then mayroon pang gap. Ito naman yung gap number 4. The service delivery versus the external communication. Yan, example din yan ng para sa akin unforgivable yan. Kasi ito yung marketing to eh. Although kaya nga parallel yan kung mapapansin nyo. It's a parallel box. Service delivery, you deliver this kind of service, but then the external communication says otherwise. I remember there was a time when I used to work in a certain company na ang sabi nila, hindi pala pwedeng sabihin. Sorry. But anyway, basta in short, nagkaroon sila ng false marketing. Kasi they thought, sabi ng marketing, sabi niya, business development na sila. So, sabi natin, kaya nating i-provide to eh. Ganitong specification, no? But then, they already, splattered the market with malalaking mga billboards, and sa totoo, hindi naman pala kaya i-deliver yun because they mistook the yabang na sinasabi ng department sa kanyang reports. Yung pala, hindi naman pala. Diba? Halimbawa, sabi mo, fully implemented na yung online, kunwari, no? For example lang, hindi naman, tapos hindi naman pala. Not all stakeholders naman pala are into it. So paano na ang sabi mo fully online ka tapos yung pala hindi naman pala, right? So meron ka na naman gap doon. 'Di ba? Maaring tama yung specification mo at dineliver mo nga naman, pero yung pagkaka-deliver mo ay hindi pala full. online. So may mga banon. O maari namang yung delivery mo pala, 90% lang pala yung within the day, pero yung sinasabi ng communications ay, you get your product on the day. 'Di ba? O may problema ka. Well, 90% naman eh. 10% lang error. Still may problem ka pa rin. 10% may not seem large to you when you are talking about maybe 10 customers. But if you're already handling 100,000 customers a day, for example lang, of course that's an exaggeration. But 100,000 customers a month, let's say, 100,000 customers a month, 10% is easily 10,000 people. 10,000 people who would attack you on social media, who would tweet, that this company sucks because before sabi nila kaya nilang i-deliver within the day, hindi naman pala, huwag kayong maniwala dyan. And they would trade you from forum to forum na para bang akala mo talagang, you stole money from them in amount of hundreds of millions of pesos. Diba? And people get affected. I mean, let's say, yung 10,000 people na yun, sabihin mo nang wag nang 10,000 eh. Let's say, 100 people lang. You pissed off 100 people. These 100 people have, on the average, 1,000 friends. That's 100,000 people reach who can see that they raid against you, right? And, the next time they would see, okay, punta nga pala sa ibang bansa. Saan kaya ako makapag-book? Cebu Pacific ba or PAL? Tapos nakinaalala, teka, Sir George nga pala, sumakay ng ganito. Tapos sabi niya, pangit yung service sa ganyan. Huwag tayo pumunta dyan. O, di ba? Naapektuhan yan eh. And let's say, we're just, alimbawa, dun sa 1,000 people na yon. Let's say, alimbawa 10% lang ang naniwala. No? So, balikan na naman sa 100. You are easily duplicating your enemies. So, you originally only have 100 misfires and those 100 will never go back to you again. And then what is more, meron kang opportunity lost kasi may nakabasa dun sa kanilang tirada sa inyo, tirade, and then these 100 people will again no longer, they will no longer go to your business or, pangkiligin ng business mo, right? So yun ang problem, no? Kasi nga mali ang iyong marketing. So just be true to your word. I mean, if you say, okay, we deliver 90%, that's just keep on telling the truth. Pero na naman yan eh. That's gap 4, diba? And then gap 5, ito yung dinidiscuss natin sa ating sa lessons natin, which is very easy to eh. Yung perceived service versus yung deliver natin. 'Di ba? Gap 5 'yon actually. Yung deliver, mali pala to eh. No? Gap 5 is yung deliver natin na service versus yung perceive nilang service. Kaya kung tutusin, the error there, kaya nga sabi, the customer is always right. Kaya nga dito sa example na to, dito sa picture na to, wala na yung gap 5. Kasi nga, the perceived service is usually the correct one. Ano ibig sabihin ko nun? Teka, baka nagkamali. Baka hindi natin naintindihan. Ang perceived service ay ang equivalent to the service. Kamali. Ganito ang point. Parang ang ibig sabihin at ang pinakamaganda yung sinabi ni Sir Peter Laurel, the president of LPU, Davao and Batangas and Laguna. Sabi Sir Peter dati sa Mancom namin, George, perception in business is reality. So, ang ibig sabihin, kung sinabing perceived service, nawawala na yung box na yan ng service delivery. Because sa business, kung ano yung perceived service, that is the service that they got. No matter what you talk about, no matter your external communication, no matter what you say in your specification, but that is not what we see. That is not what we perceive. And therefore, that is not the service. So yun, ang tawag doon, yun ang gap. That is the true gap. Okay? So kaya nga pa sabihin mo, okay, at tingin namin, ito yung service namin. Sa tingin nyo pala, hindi. So gap yun. And then finally, there's a gap between the expected service and then the perceived service. Yung expected nila na makuha, business expectation nila, and then the perceived service. Kaya nga, para sa akin, ito na lang ang tingnan mo because yung external communication, you can easily talk to your marketing guy, just keep telling the truth, okay? Medyo may yabang pero, wag masyadong mayabang, wag sobrang extravagant kasi madadali rin tayo dyan. And then get your external communication from the feedback of the customer. When the customers say, okay, I like this. Like for example, what I experienced in LTO Santa Rosa, in Robinsons. That was wonderful. And I'm sharing it right now. I mean, a lot of people, someone asked dun sa, sa Facebook. And then I said, ang nakuha ko pang lisensya, 10 years eh. So imagine, and I got it for after falling in line, for 1 hour. Kasi nga, maligo naman, di ako nakapag-exam agad. Right? I mean, di ba? So, yun, gagamitin na ngayon external communication, yung sinabi kong yun because I'm a customer, right? So, wag mo na lang tingnan yung specific service quality specification because these are just blah blahs from your company. Diba? That what is important is what is being perceived by your customer. Kaya nga kung tutusin, the true gap here, according to the ServQual model, is between what they expect and what they perceive. So yung dalawang yun. Diba? Kasi when you say ito yung perceived service niya, equatable na yan to the satisfaction. Actually, yung mga arrows na yun, sa susunod kasi yan, meron pa yan, okay, customer satisfaction. Because some Filipino customers are not that, yung maraming hanash, no? Are not that, strong-willed, so to speak. Hindi sila masyadong nagagalit pag hindi maganda yung service. Wag na, ibalik na lang ang pera na, ganun lang eh. Sa ibang bansa, may kasuhan pang kasama dyan. Diba? So, kung tutusin, may gap 6, diba? Gap 5, gap 6. May gap 7 pa rito. Yung expected service niya, perceived service, expected service, and then connected to the satisfaction of the overall service that they receive. Kaya kung titingnan mo, the ServQual model is so intense and it's so integrated na from the original perception of the customer expectation, nag-draw siya ng sarili niyang service quality specification, nag-deliver siya ng service, kinommunicate nila yung sinasabi ng service delivery nila, pero hindi naman na-perceive ng tama ng customer at yung kanyang perceived service ay may problem din sa expected service, then, that would spell and that would be a great predictor of whether the customer will enjoy your service and if they will ever come back again for further service. Ganoon lang yun eh. And kung hindi man na umuulit, katulad nung sa akin, 10 years yung LTO eh. So, siyempre, hindi ka babalik-balik doon. But you would always talk about it and you always refer other people to it. Oh, dyan sana, mabilis dyan. Right? And that would be the next success factor there would be the branding of your company. Diba? So that's it. That's what ServQual is all about, and I hope you learn all the gaps. These are the real gaps that are being talked about in ServQual. Thank you very much, guys.